Hey, welcome to Caching in the Northwest. This is the podcast from the birthplace of geocaching, even if all the hosts aren't there at the moment, right here in the great Pacific Northwest. Now, it's Thursday night, 9 p.m. Pacific time, and they call me Chris of the Northwest. We're going to talk about geocaches and geocachers from here all around the globe. So where you're trying to remember sports you watch once every 4 years, we'll be caching in the Northwest.
Yeah, like that sleeper hitman from Turkey, man. Telling you, he's something else. All right, well, tonight we're talking about bucket list geocaches, and we're going to unpack some stories surrounding a popular geocache with our special correspondent and our guest tonight, Tim, better known as Merlin1392. So welcome to the podcast, Tim.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, 1392 coincidentally is the year I was born. So,
hey, very good.
As always, live audience, we want you to share your thoughts with us about the low audio quality of Chris tonight and your bucket list geocaches and maybe questions that Merlin 1392 might be able to answer. But first, it's time to bring in our bucket-headed baboon. Some say he can count to 10 really, really fast. And others say he is sweeter than sucking a Shirley Temple through a Twizzler. All we know is he's called Land Monkey.
Hey guys, good to be here. Good to have the high quality professionalism of this podcast right off the start, as we are apt to do. That's why we brought Tim in. We're going to kind of try and quality it up a little bit here, but no pressure, Tim.
None taken. Challenge accepted.
All right. Hey, and speaking of sucking a Shirley Temple through a Twizzler, I was enjoying some Twizzlers in the theater earlier this week as I watched Deadpool and Wolverine on the date night. So that was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that.
Nice. Decent.
Yeah. If you enjoy Deadpool, it was awesome.
Don't give it away.
If you don't enjoy Deadpool, you are not going to like this movie.
I don't even know what Deadpool is. So,
there you go. We'll talk offline. I got you, bro.
Don't bother.
All right. Well, another thing I got is a quick reminder that we appreciate the support of our patrons who help to keep this podcast coming each and every week. And thanks to Land Sharks, one of our corporate Denali level sponsors. Hey, did you know you can boost your cosmic quest with Land Sharks? For every $25 you spend, you get a free trackable Sharks tag to activate and earn fuel points in the cosmic quest. Check it all out at landsharkz.ca. And as well, while you're visiting our corporate Denali level sponsors, don't forget to visit Gold Country Geotourism. Visit exploregoldcountry.com to learn more about the geotours and the region. And don't forget to download the app, or I will tell on you. All right. And if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, because clearly we need all the support we can get, click the Patreon link on the cachingnw.com website.
Yeah, I don't remember Gold Country having such a little jingle before. That's
pretty good.
I'm gonna start singing all the sponsors now.
I'm hoping to get like a little extra sponsorship for that. So We'll find out. We'll see what happens.
Works for me.
Okay. Well, keep it going. And until then, we'd like to tell you about a glow. Now, some people have asked, what is a glow?
Really? What's a glow?
Behind you, Chris.
Those are some people. Those people back there have asked too.
No, but that's a glow behind you.
It's a glow behind you, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I'm here in the nuclear territory. The glow is the geocaching log of the week. So whether you read it or whether you wrote it, we want to hear about it because great logs simply make geocaching better. Now, you can send an email or a voice recording right there off of your fancy smartphone to feedback@cachingnw.com. You can call in to 253-693-TFTC and show us just how much you glow. Like I'm glowing right now.
Oh, yes.
A healthy glow.
That's right. Well, this week we have no field recordings or voice recordings, so you're stuck with me. But we're going to read about the Deception Island volcanism earth cache. That's not volcanism from the planet Vulcan. It's volcanism, like volcano.
What a downer.
I
Can
know.
you still read it as Spock, though?
I'm not sure if I can.
Okay.
Let's see.
Read
That's
it as
GC. Oh, yeah. GC Alpha Mike Charlie 6 Victor.
Here you go.
That's not the best. Anyway, I believe this cacher is Desafio. Does that look right? Desafio?
Sure.
The cache reads, I am on the adventure of a lifetime traveling to Antarctica on the MS Roald Amundsen with Hurtigruten Cruise Lines. Today, we are on Deception Island, and what a great visit we had. Penguins, or pinwings if you're a certain celebrity. Penguins, seals, a lovely hike to the saddle, and a polar plunge. This was a great stop, and having an earth cache to do was a real bonus for us. Interesting to learn about the volcano and the rocks in the area. Answers were submitted by Devin too on behalf of our group, and my photo is attached. Thanks for the earth cache, Fate Point.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah, good deal.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about bucket list caches, so we figured that would be an appropriate glow because cache in Antarctica is pretty bucket list.
Yeah.
There you
I've
go.
already crossed that one off, but I need to get
Not everyone have, right?
Not
And not everybody's been on a Hurtigruten cruise.
Hurtigruten. That's right.
Hurtigruten. I think a certain Swedish chef serves that.
It
Doesn't
needs
he?
to be pronounced that way. Yes.
Hurtigruten.
Hey, we do have a little news. An article in the, I wanted to say Up North Voice shares that the Houghton Lake Area Tourism Bureau was honored for its efforts to create a regional geocache event. The Bureau, under direction of Roscommon's Teresa Edcom, was given a 2024 Governor's Award for Innovation Tourism Collaboration. The Bureau was established through the collaboration of the West Branch Visitor Center and the Michigan Geocaching Association. We may know somebody from there. The project was funded in part through this Roscommon County Economic Development Corporation and involved extensive community engagement, including students painting caching containers. The GeoTour's success is evidence in its widespread appeal, attracting visitors from across the U.S. and abroad, boosting local tourism, and receiving acclaim for its creative caches and community involvement. The collaboration exemplifies, excuse me, this is not my first time reading this. Well, actually, it kind of is. The collaboration exemplifies effective tourism marketing and unique experimental tourism offerings. Wow.
It's a whole lot of really hard words in there.
Yeah,
Chris.
really. There's a lot of words there.
Those aren't words I use every day.
All right.
Well, I didn't see espresso in there, so
Espresso or
Yeah.
espresso?
They serve espresso up in the Fraser Valley.
I bet they do.
Yeah.
I bet they do.
Okay,
Okay, so sorry, but we wanted to bring up that this GeoTour was sponsored in part by the local tourism bureau and the Michigan Geocaching Association. So we'll talk a little more about that. The news article is important, but hey, let's get to some other information before we get into tonight's show.
Yeah. I was going to throw it a quick recap. I went last weekend to the WSGA campout. It was here in the Tri-Cities, so lazy little me was able to attend for at least the Friday night event. They did a nice little special short-lived night adventure lab. Had a lot of fun with that. Met Seebeck, saw Seebeck Tribe there. Seebeck Tribe did her best school teacher / MC role as she forced everybody to go around the group and introduce themselves to everybody, which was fun. It was nice to put some familiar names to some faces and meet some new people. Sat with Fairwood West, patron of the show. And Fairwood West, if you're listening, I wanted to get a chance to chat with you, and then, well, the group broke up and I didn't get a chance. But it was nice to see you briefly anyway. Saw Rocket Glider and several other people that I know I'll forget somebody I already have. So, thanks, Seaback Tribe. Nice to see you too. So yeah, it was a great time. I wasn't able to actually camp out, but thankfully it was close to home. So I just went for the Friday night events.
And you didn't have to camp out.
That's right. They have announced that next year the WSGA campout is in Southwest Washington and Pacific County. I think I could be wrong about that, but I saw them note. Seaback Tribe, I'm sure, will correct me if I'm wrong. So make plans next year to go. It was fun. I had a good time for the short time. And Iham says, did I introduce myself as Iham just to confuse the attendees? No, I did not. So
there's an ongoing joke that Wits End and Iham can be the same interchangeably person. You don't know who is who.
Well, we're rarely seen at the same place at the same time.
Raising more stories.
That's right. Anyway, it was a great time. Glad to see those of you I saw, and I hope to see more of you next time.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, glad that you got to go and enjoy that event, Jim, and meet some patrons and some other listeners and some other cachers you haven't seen for a while.
Cool. 75% of the cache finds for my year so far are on that night.
Wow.
That event. 50% at the event. Another 25% on the way to the event. So it was a productive.
You're fueling up that spaceship, Jim.
That's right. I think they'll be stranded forever if they're relying on my fuel point.
All right. Well, somebody who may be feeling like they're stranded forever is our guest tonight. The astute amongst you have already surmised we brought in a special correspondent, a special guest to share another news story we're going to unpack throughout the episode. Tim, welcome back to the podcast.
Thank you. It's good to be back. Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure. Thanks for reaching out to us to have a story to share. And that's a reminder to all of you. If you've got some interesting stories to share, just reach out to us. You might end up subjected to the same punishment Tim gets tonight. All right. Well, Tim, can you share with our listeners maybe a little bit about you and your role in the geocaching in the Michigan area?
Sure. So I am from the West Michigan area, and I once was part of the MIGO, Michigan Geocaching Organization, executive committee. So I started caching in 2006. I was reborn in 2013 when I moved to the West Side. And I don't know. One of my former lives was as a bartender. And I really think people just talk to me and I listen well. So my name has gotten out there. From that, I've attended many Woodstocks, and I have a really hard time saying no. As you understand from when I was out in Abbotsford, that I was kind of a volunteer for the whole day. So
Sure.
I am now part of another podcast that's on the second Tuesday of every month called Challenge Talk. Hence the challenge completed below my name. And I like to attend events. And like I say, I'm getting more broadly known in the geocaching world. I've been on several podcasts, yours included, although this is the first time you've been on the podcast when I've been on. So
you weren't sure if like the universe would implode or something.
It was some trouble. So I guess that's a little bit about who I am and what I do.
All right. Brylang has dubbed you Voluntim.
I
love it.
I resemble that remark.
Yeah, and Seaback Tribe contributes that love challenge talk.
There you go.
Thank you.
So you have fans here.
Hey.
All right. So we understand, in addition to plugging your podcast, which I'm going to go check out, that you have some news for our listeners regarding a geocache that has some, let's say, special significance. Tell us about that cache. Why is it special? And
it is GC 36.
That's a small number.
That's a short GC code.
Very short GC code.
Yeah.
And the reason I wanted to come on is because there's been a lot of rumor and innuendo regarding this cache. And at the recent Midwest Geo Bash, I understood a lot of what was going on with it, and I had the opportunity to sit with a reviewer. So I have I believe I have as much of the facts regarding this cache as is possible. And I wanted to share that with the community because summer is a very busy time for this cache. So as Chris asked before the show, there are 2 caches in Michigan that are that bring people to our great state. And one of them is GC 35. It's called Power Island. And it requires you to kayak, rent a boat, or travel with Captain Mike to the island.
Should we know Captain Mike?
Is he on the Hurtigruten cruise line?
He's not on the Hurtigruten, but he might be.
Okay.
Captain Mike is a friend of geocaching, and he takes tours out in his boat, up to 6 people, and he'll take you over to the island for a 2-hour excursion where you can walk around the island and get the 6 or 7 caches that are on the island.
He does charters specifically for the geocaching experience.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tomokino recommends him.
He does. I recommend him. I took a tour with him. And a lot of cachers know they just post the date they're going to be on the boat and that they have openings and people join it. But that's not the real key to the Michigan caching. That cache was placed in July of 2000, hence the GC35. GC36 is in August of 2000. And as we know, there are only 4 August 2000 in the world.
Okay.
I didn't know that, but okay, I do now.
Yeah. So challenge accepted. If you want to get your quad Jasmer, you must come to Michigan.
There you go. One of the many reasons to go to Michigan.
One of the many. So the part of what's going on is that because of my world-renowned name in the community, I've been contacted by lackeys, my friend Kitty Cash down in Australia and another friend out in Massachusetts, and they're like, we see this cache, it's being found, but there is logging in the area, and we are concerned about the cache. Is it really available?
Now, when you say logging, you're talking about cutting down of trees, not logging the cache remotely, right?
Correct. Creating the paper that we all log our caches
Right,
on.
there you go.
Yes. So in particular, one geocaching friend from HQ, Gear Guru, contacted me a few weeks ago and says, I'm coming out specifically to do these 2 caches before Midwest Geobash, the common theme. What's the status? So I reached out to a friend. The cache is about 2 hours north of me. And I reached out to a friend and said, do you know who lives close that can check? He did. He knew. He went by and looked and said, yes, there's logging in the area, but the area of the cache is fine. Fast forward, and Memphis Mafia gets stuck in Detroit due to the Delta cloud streaming thing.
Oh, yeah. CrowdStrike.
Yeah. And he contacts me and says, hey, I'm stuck in Detroit for a day. Can I get to GC612, which is the last cache he needs for a Quaz Jasmer? Sure. Wow. It's available. It's ready to go. So he takes off for that. I take off for a tubing trip down a river. So I have absolutely no technology. I get back to the car and Memphis says it's not there. Oh, it's gone. I've spent an hour looking around. We found the tree where it's been hidden and all the pictures point to, but it's gone.
Oh my.
No. Subsequently, it's disabled and it's locked.
What? Oh, well, that makes a lot of sense to lock it in front of a big event, right?
Yeah.
Correct. And, they didn't. It's a great experience to get this cache. You don't want to have a throwdown there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You don't want to have the DNFs and things like that. So I reached out to the local reviewer and I said, hey, this is what I'm hearing. This is what's going on. What do you know? What can I do to help? And he said, we've got it under control. Headquarters is aware. Thank you very much. So I backed off. At Midwest Geobash, I had the opportunity to sit with him and say, okay, thanks for the text. What's the real story? So
you're thinking this isn't the entire truth, or not the entire story, right?
correct. It's not the entire story. So he tells me that the cache was picked up that Saturday morning by a known cacher. He didn't share his name with me. It wasn't important. A cacher has the cache in their possession. They picked it up because the logging is getting extremely close to where the cache was located. And so rather than have it go away, he picked it up, or they picked it up. Don't know if it's a he or she.
Okay.
They locked it so that no one would put DNFs on it. Because the more DNFs, the more HQ gets involved and says, time for this to go away.
Right.
We don't want this cache to go away under any circumstance.
No.
We can help it. So the cache will return as soon as either the logging is complete or they may have to move it from the area for a little bit. But so it'll return in some form or fashion. The piece that I do not know at this time is when that will happen.
Okay. That was going to be my question for you. Like, what's the future of GC36 look like?
Yeah.
So if a geocacher is listening to this podcast and like, oh, that's what's happened. So great. Yeah. But of course, the next question is if they're planning to target that cache on a trip out, any advice?
Put it on your watch list.
Yeah.
The only thing I tell you is put it on a watch list and wait for it. Because it is. We have not talked to the logging company, to my knowledge, to find out what their plans are.
They probably have other. They're busy.
They were just going to log the cache and move on.
Yeah.
Right. So, So that's its current status. I do have it on a watch list. I will be sharing with my friends who missed it this time to come back out and be able to get it. So there is, and Cachely doesn't show it, which is the application I use for geocaching, but I think it's one of the Android ones that when a cache is disabled and locked, it appears to be archived.
Oh,
and
okay.
That is what started the rumor of GC36 going away due to that app.
Gotcha.
So the bottom line, it's not going away. You can get your quad jasmer. Logging in this part of Michigan, we don't really get snow until late November into December. Okay. And with the crazy weather, sometimes we don't get snow until January. But I suspect that logging is going to continue through the summer, through the fall, before anything happens again. So that's what I know.
Okay.
And that's what I wanted to share with the community. And your podcast was the first one to share before anybody else.
Well, there you go. Breaking news right
That's
here
right.
live. How fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you.
Merlin. Yeah. Thank you for sharing this with us. If GC36 is important for your quad jasmer, be patient. It will come back. This is what we're hearing right now from this infamous geocacher who's talking to us.
I think you meant famous.
Oh, no,
I'll take it either way. It's good.
It's infamous. It's beyond famous.
It's more than famous, yeah.
More than famous.
Yeah, Keats says, muggling and cache for its own longevity is actually a really smart move.
As long as you're paired up with a reviewer when you do that, because I think that was the key here, Tim, right?
Yes.
Is that the reviewer was in on what was going on.
Well, and currently it's an ammo can. It was not an ammo can when I found it 8 years ago.
Oh.
So it has
evolved.
Yeah, it has evolved a little bit. So
they infused it with adamantium.
There you go. And I know Catherine has it on her bucket list to come visit Michigan again. So that will help.
Very cool. So it sounds like not that I'm going to be super instructive, but maybe it's a next year thing.
Probably. That's my guess. That's my recommendation, is to plan it for next summer. Midwest GeoBash has been announced for July 26th in Wauseon, Ohio, once again. It is an amazing event. As you guys know from last week when Starcacher was out there reporting live from the event, or getting live.
Joined the podcast from his tent in the chat there.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah. So it is a great event. And like I said, people, I have friends from Kansas and Texas that have been up to Power Island this week because it's the week after. Week before, week after. It's a great time to visit Michigan.
Tim, go ahead.
I was going to say Starcaster says thanks. You have to find either one of those because I think he's still in his tent. I don't think he's left the campground yet.
Could be.
He's just finishing up his logging.
I got to meet Jim last year at Midwest Geocache. That was fun.
That's awesome. Tim, my question for you is, for those of us who are maybe not super familiar with the geography out in that area, approximately how would you describe where GC 36 or 35 are located?
Well, GC 35 is on an island, hence the name,
right?
In the middle of Traverse Bay.
Okay, so is that like in the Great Lakes?
Technically, yes, because Traverse Bay is part of the Great Lake. When we do the Michigan thing, Traverse is like right here, and Traverse Bay kind of comes into the little finger.
Okay,
Tim, I think you need to turn your hand around.
Turn my hand around.
There you go.
That way.
There you go.
Over there. No, that way. Yeah. You can tell I don't do a podcast much, right?
For those who are trying to figure out what on earth is going on, Tim is showing us the infamous mitten hand of Michigan.
Correct.
And it looks to be at the northwest of Michigan.
Yes, it is to the northwest quadrant of northern Michigan. GC 36 is slightly more to the center. Like I say, it's about 50 miles directly east.
Oh, there we go. Hey,
who put the map up? That must be Breiling.
I think it's or Jim or somebody. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So there's GC 35.
Fantastic map. It looks just like a glove.
Yeah.
And it fits like one.
Map fits like a glove.
And there's the Upper Peninsula, which just means that Wisconsin didn't defend its borders well.
We stole it. We stole it from Wisconsin when we gave Ohio Toledo. So,
and I'm thankful for that. And so is Starcacher.
Yeah, go 50 miles to the east from that dot, and
it's over here somewhere.
No, east. The other east.
Okay. You went west.
I did, but that's because he had his hand backwards earlier. So let's see if I can find
directions are all off now.
GC 36. That's this one here.
Yep.
Cha-ching. My computer's slow. Click on it. There it is.
There you go. Okay.
Oh, I saw it.
Troop view larger map.
You need a bigger boat.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we get the idea. Then it's a little more inland.
And so Skyhawker is saying that GC 36 shows as temporarily disabled with GC Droid on an Android.
Okay. GeoGo, perhaps. I don't know how they display some of the icons.
Okay, but good to know. Like, regardless of how it's showing up on your app,
right.
The reality is
it's not going away. So
it's disabled and locked.
Yeah, and it is a wilderness area. There's hiking trail or ATV trails that you typically can use to get to the cache. 612. You can drive to about 200 feet to the cache.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, that's way too far to walk. Yeah, we got to get an ATV and drive right up to it.
Yeah, and it's sandy and, flat, so it's really hard to catch.
And in the satellite image we're looking at, all the trees that are around it, they're not there anymore.
They're not there anymore.
So it's much easier to find and get to.
It exactly is.
Just this ammo can sitting in the middle of the desert. Oh, dear. Very cool. Well, again, Tim, thanks for being willing to come on and just give the full story so people can understand. Because, it is, we're talking bucket list caches, and that is a bucket list cache for a lot of people, as you said. So, if people were planning a trip or anything, maybe they can adjust their plans, etc., and they won't be, they can work with actual information now.
Exactly.
Very cool.
Nice. Here we go. Skyhawker and Peach just got this after the previous Geo Woodstock in Owensboro. He says 200 feet, GC 36, 200 feet accessible by easy dirt road, although very sandy near the
It is.
GC, and it will be even sandier now without trees to stop that.
Show the erosion.
Oh, here you go. Seaback Tribe says on GeoGo it shows disabled.
There you go.
Thank you, Seaback Tribe. We've got an incredible research department. Thank you guys for keeping us on track. And
It's a full-time
Tim,
job.
it really is. I mean, especially with me. I just start saying things and hopefully they eventually turn out to be true. You had mentioned that Michigan traded Toledo to Ohio, and Lost Ken said that was a good trade. Starcasher is going yay Toledo. So we got a lot of feedback just from that little mention of that.
Sure.
And I'm thankful I grew up around Toledo myself. So
Corporal Klinger is as well.
Yeah. Indeed.
yes, that's right. We enjoy Tony Pacos about once a month, just because we have to. It's
And the Toledo Mud Hens.
oh, the dirt chickens. I love that. Yeah.
Too funny. Well, if we're talking about bucket list caches, and certainly we talked about GCs 36 and 35, and those very interesting, Tim, the backstory there on 35, the fact that you can get skippered over there. I had no idea. I've heard of people taking a boat over there with renting a boat or chartering a boat. I didn't realize the guy knows what's going on, and he's like, that's part of the business is getting geocachers over there.
He will part of the orientation for going over. It's I want to say it's about a 45-minute boat ride, about 3 miles to get 4 miles from the one side of the island. You can kayak it, but it is a 3-mile kayak. And, weather in Michigan can be iffy, and especially in the Great Lakes area. I don't know that I would want to go on a 3-mile kayak, but I have friends that have done it, and you can. But Captain Mike will give you a little orientation, and he drops you off at the pier, tells you how to navigate the island best to make sure you get all of the caches in the 2 hours that he allocates for your trip, and then he takes you back. So, which is probably the most important part.
That's a good deal, yeah.
Which is probably a good idea because Canadians sing songs about voyages across the Great Lakes that don't end well. So, it'd probably be a good idea to have somebody go with you.
Yeah, I recommend it. Although I do have friends that have rented. Captain Mike is the most expensive, obviously, because it's the smallest crew. I have friends that have rented their own pontoon and filled it up with like a dozen people, and it works out to be like $25, $30 a person to get to the island. So you can do that. So there are a lot of different ways.
Very cool. So Tim, question for you. As the emissary for that region tonight on the show, we're talking about bucket list caches. Would you say or recommend any other than those 2 caches in the region that you think are absolutely must-do bucket list style caches?
Oh, thank you. There is one in Wisconsin. And because you put me on the spot, I have absolutely no idea what the GC code is.
It starts with GC.
Oh, it does. It does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's a big blue box.
Okay.
Some people know it as a TARDIS.
I was going to ask the TARDIS. Okay.
And it is, I want to say it is southwest of Milwaukee. And in order to access the cache, you have to play the game Simon.
Oh,
with the little buttons on it that the colors light. You have to follow the pattern. That was an awesome cache that I did.
Very cool.
So yep, that is a very good one. Let's see. There's West Michigan has a number of quality gadget cache builders.
Nice.
I mean, we're not at the level of Bounce and Goblin Dust and Tricacheus, but we do pretty well.
Yeah.
And there is a cacher that we have a series called the US 131, which goes from Grand Rapids, goes from the southern part of the state through Grand Rapids up to Power Island.
Oh,
And we have put a number of gadget caches out there. And there is a guy that has put a cache out there called Counting Dowels. And it's been getting hit a lot lately and it's received a number of favorite points. So I'm helping with the cosmic energy.
there
Yeah.
you go. Yes. Yeah.
So I had to
So,
plug one of my caches, but RDC 4106 is another really good cacher in the area. So there's a lot of good caches. Don't know that I would put them as bucket list caches.
Well, I guess what I was getting at is if you're coming to the area to do let's say planning for next year now, right? And,
Sure.
and planning to get 35 and 36 and visit with Captain Mike and have a great time doing that. Because those two, as you said, aren't that far from each other, really.
Yeah, it's only an hour. So, I mean, if you're coming from Seattle or British Columbia and you're coming 1,700 miles, what's 50 miles?
That's another 50.
Yeah, that's nothing.
That's awesome. That's awesome, Tim. But yeah, I mean, I asked just because if people are planning a trip, maybe some other things for them to be considering in that region to put on their list.
Oh, absolutely. If you are coming to Michigan for Power Island, absolutely fly into Grand Rapids because it's very easy to get into, easy to get out of, as opposed to Detroit Metro. And if you let me know you're coming, we'll try to have an event for you.
Oh,
Awesome.
wow.
Bonus.
There
Yeah.
you go. Very cool. Keats94 adds in the chat another bucket list suggestion. He says it might be an obvious one for the show, but GC Bravo Alpha in Nova Scotia is another bucket list. That is the first cache in Canada. So yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's nearby.
Another one to put on your list.
GCBB, eh?
Exactly. That's why it's Canada's first.
Yeah.
That's nice. No, there's a lot of old caches that are in the vicinity. We were looking at an event we're planning for next year, and there are 5 year 2000 caches within about 3 hours of our venue.
Wow.
So if you are a year 2000 collector, there's a lot. There's a lot in the area, and those are quite good.
Fun. Well, and you know,
Love it.
that would be good for a lot of challenges as well, I'm sure.
Mhm.
Very good. What else do we got for the topic here, you guys?
Well, I was going to share a couple. I'll just start with saying my laptop is not charging like it was earlier, and I'm down to 14% battery. So this might be an interesting night. I think a reboot
podcast.
I think a reboot will take care of it, but you know, who wants to start with that right now in the middle of the podcast? Well, I will tell people that I am vacationing in Hawaii. And when we decided to do Hawaii, my dad wanted to come. He was stationed here in the military almost 70 years ago.
Wow.
And it's fantastic to be with him and to see him re-explore, rediscover the area. Now, everything has completely changed.
Chris, I was going to ask, has he been back since, or is this his first time back?
He did come back a couple of years ago with my brother, didn't explore everything.
Okay.
But, you know, we were able to take him to Schofield Barracks where he spent his time. They let him in, right? They let him and my wife in. Just word of warning about people with Washington State driver's license. They are not federally approved identification. Luckily, my dad had his passport with him, and my wife recently got her license updated. I haven't yet, right? My birthday's coming up. I haven't renewed it yet. They wouldn't let me on the base. And I was like, you know what? That's fine. I will stay here. You guys go. I don't want this, I don't want my, thinking of why didn't I bring a passport when I'm still in America to impact to impact my dad's thing. So I stood there at the checkpoint while they drove off, and luckily they came back and got me. But he was able to see the barracks he was in, right? So those still exist.
Oh, wow. That's extra special.
Yeah. He spent a couple of months at Tripler, the medical hospital. Now it's a level 1 trauma center for all of the Pacific. But, then it was much smaller. He had a knee operation and spent 2 months there. So, we were able to drive up big pink hospital sitting on a hill. You probably see it when you look at the Hawaii shows. Yeah. So we did that. The bucket list things I wanted to do was first and foremost go to Pearl Harbor, and I was able to do that. Fantastic. I highly suggest everyone do it. We did take the boat over to the Arizona, went through the memorial. You're only allowed 15 minutes in the memorial, which isn't enough time, right?
Yeah.
But to run all the people through. So we did that, and then took the tour of the Missouri.
Missouri. Yeah.
The battleship Missouri, where they signed the Instruments of Surrender. That's the official term for the Japanese in World War II.
In Tokyo Bay, wasn't it? Or
yes,
I
yeah,
think it was, yeah.
Wow.
So I guess the big question, Chris, is did you get a cache while you were there?
I did. Well, since it is a national park, no,
Okay.
but I did get some adventure.
I was going to say, isn't there a virtual cache there?
I don't remember seeing a virtual.
I thought
I'll have
like
to go back
in
and
Arizona or something, there was a virtual. Maybe I'm wrong.
maybe there was, and I didn't have the chance to go see it.
But adventures don't count toward your state fines, though.
That's true. So the other bucket list thing I did. Oh, by the way, I already had Washington, or I already had Hawaii.
Oh,
State,
okay.
So not
The
the
urgency
big
was
concern
low.
that I had to go. Yeah. I wanted to climb Diamond Head.
Oh,
Just as one of the things. Let's go do it. Both of these things you have to make reservations for a month or more in advance.
Really?
Right? Yes, you can't just show up and say, "Hey, I want to take a tour of Pearl Harbor." No, you have to get a reservation. Now, they're not expensive. I want to say they're $1, right? It's just a crowd limiting function.
right.
Sorry about that.
Bless you. No problem.
And then same for Diamond Head, right? I think that maybe was $10. And my wife, my wife was worried about it. She's actually been in physical therapy, right? Trying to get things. She's like, this is going to be a tough climb. So we did some rehearsal build up to it, at home before we came out. And, we took our time and made it up there. It's not a difficult climb.
Well,
Pardon me. There are times when it's hot. Wow, I'm really joked up. When it's hot and stuffy. Oh, thank you. There's a Pearl
the research
Harbor
department again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to see if I qualify for it since I didn't look ahead.
Yep.
The climb up is hot. It's hot. Okay, it's just hot. It's Hawaii. Everything here is hot.
Yep.
Okay. And there are areas where there's no breeze, right? And then you come out to come up to a spot on the mountain, and there's just this beautiful breeze blowing. You say, let me just stay here for a while. This is nice. But we climbed all the way up. And at the top, right near the top, 13 steps from the top to be exact, there is a geocache. So now, why that wasn't a bucket list geocache, that was a bucket list adventure for me.
Right. Sure. For sure. Very cool. Well, we've got lots of other content about bucket list stuff going on here.
Indeed.
Let's scroll back, and we've got Gearhead, who shares that he's just back from Gilby, North Dakota, and that was a huge bucket list adventure for him. Tricassius is a great host. Very cool. So it sounds like an awesome trip. I saw some photos from Gearhead on the interwebs. Looks like you had a fantastic trip. And Tim, not sure if you remember Gearhead from when you were out here helping at Abbotsford, but he is the owner of the property that the TARDIS cache in near Abbotsford.
Yes, I remember
That's his
him.
cache.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is also a really good. That's an awesome TARDIS cache. We crammed 6 people, I think, into that TARDIS when we were out there.
Yeah, it's funny. Him and his wife still tell stories about the neighbors trying to figure out what on earth was going on. As us, literally, a bus of geo tourists
Oh my.
pulls up and gets out. It's like, fun stories, but good stuff.
Well, I appreciate Chris's stories because I am headed to Oahu next July for an event. And so Pearl Harbor is absolutely on my list of things to do there. And
well, don't
Lori's
forget to do the virtual.
Yeah. I've added that virtual to it. Lori's already set that up for Hawaii is going to have a mega event next July.
Wow.
Very cool.
So it will be the first mega in Hawaii, maybe the only mega in Hawaii. It will be the most southern U.S. mega event.
Right.
Okay.
And it will be also the farthest west mega event. So a lot of special things going on.
Yeah. And the oldest in Hawaii is on Oahu as well. So there you go. Some more.
Well, there you go. Maybe I have to come back in July.
There you go.
Just to show our support.
Thank you. We would appreciate it.
Yeah.
As an ambassador for that and many other events, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Land Monkey, Wits End, are you okay to join me and we'll do a live show from Cache Fest?
If we have to.
Okay.
I looked at that cache you logged. I logged a DNF there. So
At the virtual?
No, the Diamond Head.
Oh, okay.
I just looked at it.
I almost did too. I didn't read closely, and I was looking at the wrong step landing. I'm like, I'm down here, and there's a good number of people moving back and forth, but I probably spent 15 minutes poking my hand all around the stairs trying to find this thing.
Yeah, we got up there. I took my kids up there. We went there at sunrise and real early. It was fun.
Another bucket list. Seebeck Tribe shares the walk up to the wild horses in Vantage, Washington was a bucket list experience for her. She did it last weekend. That's a really cool spot. So I think there's definitely a L stop there, and there used to be
now. Yeah,
that's the mountain where they have like live metal horses way up over the park and ride.
Not quite live, but metal.
Well, okay, metal, yeah.
Metal sculptures of horses, sort of going along the ridge line there, up an elevated area. Yeah, that's really neat.
Okay, I did that on my trip to Abbotsford, Seattle. That was a very cool place.
Incredible views up there. Again, hot climb, right? You get up there, you feel the breeze.
Yep.
Nice. Well, here's just Carlo on his bucket list. Says, I have not yet made it to Geocaching HQ and the Tunnel of Light 8 cache.
All right. Well, we're going to have to figure out how to get just Carlo there.
Yeah. Just Carlo, we'll have to work something out so that you and the Caching in the Northwest team can accomplish at least one of these, if not both.
Good fun. All right. And did I miss anything, guys? Is there anything else here?
Let's see here. This guy, Merlin, 1392, such an odd cache name, says that here's the Cache Fest for Hawaii. It's not live yet, but it's GCAVHMK.
Yeah. The application has been submitted to headquarters. As soon as it's approved, then the cache page will go live.
Awesome. Fantastic. What else have we got? Yeah, Komikino is suggesting a vlogger team up for just Carlo for
there you go.
Both of those adventures. That sounds like a fun time.
Wet Coaster says there's a mystery cache icon on the Arizona Memorial. Cords are in the Adventure Lab there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Cool. Fun.
Keats says any currently functioning webcam cache is on his bucket list.
There's less than 100 now in the world?
In the world?
So.
No, maybe more than that. I don't know.
I only care about the United States, which I know there's less than 100 first for that.
Okay.
But
yeah, they're definitely disappearing. Subway Mark says a bucket list cache for him is much talked about by two of the hosts on this show, Ring of Fire, GC,
Oh, yes.
Juliet, Yahoo Hotel Zulu.
That was a fun one.
Yes, that was a lot of fun. Tony Golden, Golden one? I've forgotten his geocaching name. Says GC6 X-Ray Juliet Quebec Alpha Infernal Device 2 is a must for everyone.
I have to check
That was
out.
interesting. During the Cache Fest Oklahoma mega, you actually had to reserve a time slot in order to do that cache.
Oh, really?
Swiftly Golden. Thank
Swiftly
you.
Golden. Thank you, Tom.
So
Interesting. Okay.
And this one sounds very interesting to me. Wits End, read the cacher name.
Gary.
That's
Stefan.
There you go. Go ahead and read this one. I'm going to cough some more.
GC2 Papa 5 Papa Delta Indiana Jones and the Flame of Chentico, Part 1. Followed closely by GC2 Papa 5 Papa Romeo Indiana Jones and the Flame of Chentico, Part 2.
Interesting.
I don't know what it is, but it sounds fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love all the Indiana Jones. Well,
It's too much
I love-
awesomeness for one cache.
I like 3 out of the 4 of the Indiana Jones movies.
yeah, one of those I started when we were in Arizona one time, and I just couldn't make it all the way. But I had my Muggle wife with me, and it was taking too long and too much of the adventure.
Oh, so you've tried those ones, Tim?
I have tried one of those two.
Okay. And are they multis or
Sorry?
is it a multi or a mystery? Or what kind of cache is it?
It is a mystery, but it's a multi-part mystery.
Okay.
So as I remember, we were in a library and we had to find a box that had a cryptix in it, and we had to find things around the library to open the cryptix.
Oh, wow.
Seems like a Indiana Jones thing.
Yeah, and so we that's where we got stuck. I was assuming it would lead us outside somewhere, and it was taking us too long.
We have to break through the floor.
Yeah, could be.
That's what we
X never ever marks the spot. Yeah.
Too funny.
Yeah, we did another cache out there that took a long time, and I'm going to be a loss again. If I'd have prepared for this show, I didn't know I was going to be on the whole show. The cache has subsequently been archived, but it's at a park in Sedona, and the whole map kiosk for the park, the top lifts up.
Oh,
and
my
it played music, and you had to balance a little ball to get it through this maze. And there were 3 levels to the maze. And it took me 10 tries to get through the first level. And I got so excited, I let go of the wheels and it dropped through the hole. My wife said, "That's it. You're not going for any more. You're done." But you don't see the log. You don't find the log until you make it to that end. And then a secret panel opens on the side and you get the log to cache.
Oh, that's
it was done by the Raven, who has done these 2 Indiana Jones caches. And the Raven is an amazing CEO who is, I believe he's retired now from the game. And that's one of the reasons his cache was so intricate that they've had trouble getting parts to repair it. And so it's subsequently been archived.
There you go. And Gary says that part 2 uses invisible ink in a cave to get the digits for the cryptex at the end. That's
there we go. Okay.
And we're just about at time, but we've got a few more suggestions of bucket list caches, and we're going to do another bucket list cache. Yes, GC12 is on Dan Camp's list, on IHAM's list, as is the cache that shall not be named. Absolutely. Seebeck Tribe said Pikes Peak in Colorado, definitely a bucket list. And Wet Coaster says GC 189 Echo 5 in Prague, the most found cache in the world with 47,295 finds, a bucket list. One to get to. I mean, Prague, just going to Prague seems like a bucket list thing to me, but But definitely, and one more. Just Finding Our Way suggests another great one that I've enjoyed in New York State. GC 10 Victor Mike Yellow Eternal Flame Falls Earth Cache is wonderful, and it is. That is a fun, awesome experience. All right, folks. You know what? Keep sending us your recommendations for bucket list caches. We're going to do another episode soon. We're going to get through some more recommendations of bucket list caches. And Tim, thanks so much for sticking around for the whole episode. If folks wanted to get in touch with you, how are you doing that?
The easiest way is through the messenger, geocaching messenger, Merlin 1392. And if you have trouble remembering the numbers, just remember that Columbus sailed the ocean blue in 1392.
Right.
And,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And that's the best way. You can find me on the second Tuesday of the month on YouTube with Challenge Talk. And our podcast is exclusively to challenges. So Emily Renee from Out Your Way and I host that podcast. And you'll see me at events. And if you do, I keep stuff in my pocket for people that know.
I thought you were just happy to see me.
Yeah, that's true. I'm always happy to see you, Chris.
There we go.
Tim, thanks for staying up late. We certainly appreciate it.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
And folks, thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this episode of Caching in the Northwest.
Absolutely. We want to take a moment to thank Land Sharks and Gold Country Geotourism, our corporate Denali level sponsors. LandSharkz.ca is the outdoor adventure and geocaching store. Check them out online. They're shipping those online orders daily. And don't forget about that trackable promotion going on right now. And for absolutely amazing geocaching adventures, check out exploregoldcountry.com. Don't forget to download the app. We want to thank all of our faithful Denali level supporters. That's Land Sharks, Gold Country Geotourism, Cool Cow Cachers, Cashly, and Hawaiian Maile. I still can't say it right.
Maile.
All right. Hawaiian Maile. And if you want to know more about supporting this here podcast, click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website.
Yes, like GeoBirder did.
And Doramore.
And Geocaches.
And Terrible Tees.
UDAC.
Flagman.
And Teus.
Logwork.
GeoNav Pro.
LG 9000.
Limax.
CRS 98.
Gas Station Tuna.
Peach of Washington.
Skyhawker.
Just Finding Our Way.
Subway Mark.
Kid Vegas 19.
Your Doc.
The Seebeck Tribe.
J-Car.
Segeho.
Whidbey Island Gal.
Camp Clan.
Just Carlo.
Mountain Bike.
Green Words.
Genies.
Hemnerve.
Kitty Quest.
MC3 Cats.
Nervous Energies.
Boomer 365.
GSM ×2.
You Talks to Rocks.
And for all the spilly drinkers out there, it's Wet Coaster.
Trexer.
Butterfly Girl.
Team Noltex.
BC Rockcrawler.
B Pendragon.
And Railroad, which is what we'll do to our guest at the end of the podcast.
That's right.
You better believe it.
Uh-oh.
Folks, thanks for taking the time to listen to this episode of Caching in the Northwest. Your support helps keep the quality shows coming. So if you like the show, please click the Patreon link on the cachingandw.com website. Now, if you didn't like the show, let us know what you want to talk about. But if you like the vibe, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and give us a review. If you were in a restaurant, you would tip. If you were in a live audience, you would clap. But since you're on a podcast, leave us a free, fast, fabulous, fantastic 5-star review. And of course, you can call into 253-693-FTC and leave us a comment, ask us a question, help me get a cough drop any time of the day or night. And of course, you can email us at feedback@cachingandw.com. Join us live every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Pacific for a live show and chat. This show is produced by Chris Umfenauer, Jim Paulwitz, Jake Henny, and Brian Lang. It's licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution 3.0 license. Copyright 2024 by Chris Umfenauer. Folks, we ask you to stay tuned for
The After Show.
That was pretty smooth.
That was very smooth.
Thank you.
Well done.
Must have somebody else working the controls tonight.
That's gotta be it, yeah.
That's the whole high tech thing that was been going on tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to hold on to this. I'm going to bring this to an event at some point in time.
Yeah. Hey, I want to jump in the after show. Oh, well, first off,
Ooh,
Cosmic
spoiler
is to get
alert.
the 4th souvenir.
nice. Well done. Because I see Gary's live in the chat, I try very hard, but how badly did I mangle Bed Stefford Skule?
Sounded pretty good to me.
yeah.
I have no idea if it's even close to accurate, but
And Gary,
Sounded
we
better than-
appreciate you, but I didn't even try.
yeah. and if I horribly mangled it, my apologies. I sincerely
We
tried.
tried, and I got to meet Gary at the Alpine event in Flagstaff.
Oh,
So,
that was a neat event. That was
Yeah,
fun.
very nice.
Oh.
There
Chris's
goes
battery
Chris's
may have died.
power.
Oh.
Bye, Chris. Thank goodness he got through his spiel first.
Yeah,
right?
That's right. I heard him kind of speeding up a little bit. I wondered if it was due to battery issues.
1%, half
Yeah.
a percent, 3/4 or 1/4%.
Yeah.
Oh, my
dear.
goodness.
All right. Well, you know what? Why don't we just wrap it up there?
Yep, he just texted me, powered down.
Yeah,
No
no worries.
Seebeck Tribe had a FTS.
Oh.
I have my best month. Oh, she's bragging. 375 caches and 918 finds for the year. That's amazing.
Awesome.
She had a
Wow.
great trip. I envy her. Her road trip was a lot like mine to come out to the West. I think I was gone for a month from Michigan to come out to visit you guys.
Yeah.
And I think she took a month to go down to Oklahoma.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good for her.
She talked about going out there. Yeah. She talked a little bit about it at the camp out last weekend. So
Right.
Okay.
Fun. And Jedi Trash Panda has a FTAS here. Didn't call it a FTAS, but it is. Don't forget International Geocaching Day coming up on the 17th of August. Find a cache, attend an event, get your souvenir.
I love souvenirs.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, Jedi Trash Panda. All right. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there. Again, Tim, thanks so much for sticking out all night. We recognize it is very late for you.
very late.
Well, I did take a nap today, so and I get excited about doing the podcast. So I'm wired. It's probably going to be another hour or two before I even go to sleep now. But no, I appreciate it. You guys are a lot of fun. I don't get to listen live much, but thank you for having me, and thank you for letting me share at least the known story about GC36. And
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'll try to ping you guys when I know that it goes live, and we'll get it back up and running.
Sounds good.
Sounds
All
good.
right. Well,
I'm
right,
gonna go
Jim,
check out your podcast too.
yeah, we
Thanks.
definitely have to go check that out. It sounds like a lot of fun. So as we say, as Chris usually says, but I'll say it tonight, get out there and get caching in the Northwest. Where's that button? Right over there.
Hey.
Got it.